Hey guys, DM Scotty here. Welcome to the DM's Craft. Good to have you with me. Today we are going to do a magical floating monolith. You may ask, how are we going to do a floating monolith? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. But it's a really cool project, very easy to do, looks really cool on the table, and is a great place for a fun encounter. So let's go to the table and I'll show you how we do that. The basis for my project will be this thin cardboard. Now I've already drawn it out here. So basically what I've done is I've drawn two areas. This is 2 by 2 areas. And then I just put an inch marking in the center of these and then converge them together to make points. And then the bottom here, this is 3/4 of an inch, this space here. And then I measured out from each 2-inch mark a centimeter, and then I drew the line touching the where I drew the centimeter mark to the center of the thing. So there you go. You can see I've shaded out these areas that I'm going to cut out. So I'll go ahead and cut those out. I'm just going to use scissors. It's thin cardboard, so it'll be pretty easy. So here's what I end up with, this shape here. Now I've got to put some bends in it, but I want to bend it from the other side. So what I'll do is I'll just turn it over, and I'll use my ruler, and I'll just put it along that line there. And then I'm just going to bend these section. Okay, so I end up with something like this. Okay, now this is going to curl in and then converge at the top and converge at the bottom. Now this will be a little tricky because I don't have any tabs on this because it's thin cardboard. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing this together, and I've got my glue gun ready. So first off, I'm just going to go and then converge those points together. Now, because we're not using tabs, we may have a little bit of runoff, so you can drag your finger over it. Wait for it a second. It's a fine line between burning yourself and getting it before it dries. So. Now I've got the entire object complete. Now I've just got to put the two halves together. So I'll just that crevice in there. Alright, so now I've got the object together. Now you may have a few areas where there's a little bit of the object sticking out, or the panel sticking out, so you can always just clip it a little bit. That kind of cleans the object up a little bit. So now what we'll do is we'll move on to the next step. What I've decided on for my decoration of this object is I want to use some kind of random triangles on it, and you'll see how I paint those when I get it all painted up. But I want to do these triangles on it, and I'm just going to kind of randomly place them on this object. So the best way to do that would be to use your white glue. If you try to use the hot glue, you're going to burn yourself. So it's better just to, with these small pieces, put some randomly on. So there you can see kind of the idea with this, with the raised areas. So now I'll finish up the raised areas on this object, and then I'll show it. I'll base paint it black with the black spray paint, and then we'll move on to the next phase. Here's my monolith all painted, and you can see I have all the details on there. Now, the theme I'm going to go with this is I want to do kind of like a bluish glow to this kind of thing. So what I'm going to start with is a cobalt blue, which is a fairly bright blue. I'm going to use a big brush, and I'm using a glove. I've reused this glove. You can wash these off and reuse them again. These latex gloves, or I mean the vinyl gloves, are fairly easy to reuse. The latex tend to break, but vinyl you can reuse. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm painting this on. So I'm pretty much just going to cover it up because I'm going to do some texture with the sponge technique on this. So I want to get a base start of the cobalt blue on here. All right, there we go. There's our object. So we got that nice cobalt blue on there. So I will let this dry, and then we'll come back and do some detail work. So I'm going to do my sponge technique, and I've got my little floating monolith here, and you can see it's very blue. So now I'll just start sponging that on. This is a metallic black. So all right, so we'll let that dry up, and then we'll do some more detail to it. All right, so here's my monolith. You can see it really has a neat kind of color. It's got a dark blue kind of circling these protrusions on the monolith, and it's kind of interesting, but I want to accentuate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out these protrusions, these triangular protrusions. So I'm going to use a Tahiti blue, and I'm going to dry brush. I'm going to use a fairly bristly brush. Load my paint on that. And then I'm going to kind of pull from the corners of those. Kind of hit those centers a little bit just to kind of fill them in just a touch, but not all the way. I like that it's got some dark in there. I'm not trying to fill these in all the way. So there we go. Really nice contrast with that Tahitian blue against the black and the dark blue. So now I'll finish this up, and I'll give you a peek at what it looks like. So here's our finished monolith. You can almost hear this thing throbbing with unearthly power. That color scheme is really makes it interesting. So now we'll move on from here, and we're going to work on a base for this. All right, so here we go. Here's going to be the base of our monolith, and I've cut an inch. I made an inch square in the center and then 4 inches around, and this is to be kind of in relief like this. Now these are what's going to be between these boxes here. Now I've cut these are an inch on each side and a little like an inch and a quarter on the bottom. So they may not fit exactly perfectly, but we can always cut those if we need to. So now the trick is going to be to use our glue gun and get these corners installed. So that's what I'll do now. Then pop your triangle right in there. Now we may be a little off here. So what we can do is after it dries, we can cut a little bit off. That's easy to do. But now we'll hold that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and then I'll show you what it looks like. here we are, we have our nice shape all together. So it's kind of cool looking there. So, but I do have a little bit of a problem. I did have a little bit of over on a couple of these. So what I'll do is I'll just take my scissors and get that edge and then just cut it right to the other edge. So there you go. That's easy fix there. And oh, there's one here too. So don't want to cut too much off. So there's our shape. Now I've cut this base for this, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it to this base. And I'll just glue around the bottom edge here. So we will let this dry for a minute, or harden up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out of the base. Just go around with the scissors and cut it right out. And to finish this up, what I will do is I'll take the little triangles like I did on the monolith itself, and I'll glue all those on. And then I'm going to paint it up exactly like I painted the monolith, so you don't need to see that. And then we'll come back and we'll move to the next stage. Now another thing I did when I crafted this was, or painted it, I painted some pearlescent on the blue to kind of give it a highlight and make it stand out from the base it's on. So my goal with this project is to have the monolith floating above the base. And how I'm going to achieve that is I'm going to use a skewer, a wooden skewer. Now what I'll do is I'll paint it black to disguise it so it's not the wood color. I'm also going to cut the tip off just a little bit, but it's a pointed tip, so it'll go right up into the point of the monolith itself. So what I'll do is I'll cut that off, and then I'm going to paint it up black. So here I have my components. Now what I want to do is stick this into the base here, so the monolith can float above it. What I need to do is insert it into the base. So what I'm going to do is use a punch, just this hole punch, and I'll just get it on the spot about the center and get it in there. Okay. So what I'll do to try this out is I'll stick the post into the base, and then what I'm going to do is take the monolith and put it on top. It'll kind of give me a guesstimate where I need to cut it. So I think I'll cut it about right there. Well, no, that's going to be down some. So I'll cut it like right there and try that out. Remember, you can always cut more off, but it's a little harder to put it back on. So the stick's pretty thick. So I'm using these thick scissors. Okay, get that in there. I'll try it out. Okay, still a little high for me, so I'm going to cut it some more. Okay, I think I'm liking that height. So now what I'll do is I'm going to glue this in the base. And I'm just going to use white glue. You could use alright. So now we'll let that dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like in an environment, a dungeon environment. Here we have our tile, and we have the adventures on it for scale. So it looks really nice. So you can see that it can turn a bit, it can move, because it's not secured. You could secure it, but I didn't secure it, so it can actually kind of float around and turn, which is kind of fun. It gives that illusion of hovering above the base. You could have all kinds of cool effects with this. It could do like area effects. Each side could be try to get control of it, so do opposed arcana checks to try to control the monolith, and the monolith would give you some kind of benefit or hindrance depending on if you control it or not. And so it can be a lot of fun in battles, as well as a nice visual piece for your game. So there we go on the DM's Craft, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, if you're really digging these videos and would like some more information or to talk to other crafters, look at the link below in the description, and you can join my forum on the DM's Craft. We'd love to have you, and I'll see you there.